So accountant member, if he comes to the tribunal, he should forego his position and he should be on the rolls of the Ministry of Law. He should opt as a career as an accountant member with Ministry of Law. He comes there to serve, dispense justice and stay there, and then that's it. This is how it should work. This will help enhance the image of the tribunal also, that the tribunal is independent and is no more under the influence of the Federal Board of Revenue. 50% is under the influence of the Board of Revenue. Next please. Section 137. Time for payment of tax after assessment. Initially it was 30 days. It was reduced to 15 days, and in these current scenarios, it's not more than at times 5, 10, 15, and max of 15 days. I think reasonable time should be allowed. And what is reasonable time? If we can link it down to the first appellate level, I think it will do wonders. Number one, harsh assessments and assessments to generate revenue or make recoveries will stop immediately. Only those assessments will become which will stand the test of appeal. Only those assessments will come into the field. आपको पता होगा कि ये assessment जो है जब तक appeal से नहीं निकल के आएगी मैं recovery नहीं कर सकता. Department does have his own problems, yes, but if we do this, we definitely build up more confidence that whatever the harsh assessment is coming, whatever the assessment is, you do not have to pay, and if you can link it with the first appeal, it would be excellent, but at least some reasonable time should be allowed to the taxpayer to make the payment. Currently, as my experience goes, it is less than 15 days also in certain particular moments. Next please. We all know income of the federal, provincial and local governments is exempt. And a lot of payments are being made to such people by way of bank interests, by way of contracts and things like that. So what happens over there? We do not know whether we have to withhold, because major collection comes from withholding. So a very good system was generated, which was FTN. Anybody who has an FTN, free tax number, is probably considered as not having any tax liability. So therefore this person should not have any withholding of taxes. What I'm suggesting is complete list be issued, or all the entities must be issued the FTN. For example, I have come across under the Ministry of Health, one FTN has been issued, but the institutes under the Ministry of Health, for example, PIMS, for example, Punjab Institute of Cardiology, they have not been issued. So what happens to them? When somebody makes a payment to them, should he withhold tax or should he not withhold tax? For services, for health services rendered to the employees. So I think if we can put this thing, comprehensive list, and then give an appropriate amendment in 159 that anybody having one FTN, no withholding should be done, the matters would be resolved. It will reduce the tax liability of the withholding agent. Next please. Section 161 of the ordinance. I made an error. I was saying 122 was the only section. No, this is also one of the major sections, and unfortunately I do recall having discussed it with one of the ex-chairmen, and he really got angry with me. I said, sir, this is being used as about a couple of years back. I said, sir, this is being used as a revenue generation tool. And he got really angry with me, and he said, no, who told you? We are just using it as monitoring. But today, even if you look in today, as of today, LTUs and RTOs have issued notices. Under 161, yes, there is a power to pass an order under 161. Is there a power to call for information under 161? Needs consideration. Is there a power under 161 to collect from the person and not to check the person for whom this credit has to go? Yes, there is a power under 161 for that. If anything is recovered from me as a withholding agent, I can then recover it from the person on whose behalf the tax has been recovered from me. But can I do that? आजकल के ज़माने में मुश्किल है. Civil liabilities, and you know, going to the court is not as simple as. So what are we? There is a mechanism available under the ordinance 162. Has the department ever looked into 162? Has there been any exercise on a person from who was actually the payer for that tax कि आपसे ही रिकवर कर लिया जाए? फॉर एग्जाम्पल मेरा 151 में प्रॉफिट ऑन डेट पे टैक्स नहीं कटा तो बैंक से रिकवर कर लिया जाएगा कि बैंक ने क्यों नहीं काटा. फाइन, देयर इज अ पावर अवेलेबल. बट कभी मुझसे पूछा गया कि भाई अंद्रावी साहब आपने टैक्स नहीं दिया, आपसे क्यों ना 162 में रिकवर कर लिया जाए? आई हैव नॉट कम अक्रॉस एनी such exercise till today. My humble view as a lawyer is that action under 162 must be taken before 161 can be done. It's an easier way to collect under 161. Very easy. Collect it from the bank. 200, 400, 500 million बैंक से multinational से लेना मसला ही कोई नहीं है. It's a quick thing. And then additional tax also. It's 3% plus kaiba per quarter. You can recover as much as you want. वो दाढ़ी से मूछ भी बढ़ जाती है at times. So this is one section which needs to be rationalized and applied in a manner where it should not be seemed as if it is a revenue generating tool. Unfortunately, with due respect, it is being used as a revenue generating tool. Then with the withholding agents, what do? They are working day and night for the Federal Board of Revenue in helping them collect. And what do they get in the end? Additional taxes, penalties, default surcharge, reconciliations, challans, everything. ये चालान नहीं है, ये चालान आ गया. No compensation is ever being paid. There is no compensation at all to the withholding agent. Whereas when you give this task to the banks for utility collection, they get certain charge. FBR itself holds a collection charge when collects revenue for provinces. तो क्विड प्रो को होना चाहिए. अगर आप भी कोई रिकवरी ले रहे हैं तो इनको भी कुछ दीजिए. Give them an incentive and then penalize them also. Yes. ये वन साइडेड ही चलता जा रहा है. नेक्स्ट प्लीज. Calling for information under 176. It's again a very wide power. I'm not saying the wide powers should not be there. You can call anybody. 144 and 148 of the repeal ordinance is together available on 176. 144 was calling for information, 148 was calling the person for a witness and producing the record. Both are put together in 176. No parameters have been given when to use, where to use, how to use, whether the commissioner is required to indulge in itself or the delegation of power will be sufficient by the assistant commissioner to work it out. Even at times I have seen that it is being used as an alternate for monitoring. For example, certain people who do not have jurisdiction of a taxpayer, they issue 176 notice and say, please give me the information of all the taxes that you collected in the name of clearing forwarding agents, because I have the jurisdiction over me. Now, can you monitor, can you collect this information? I think under the present scenario, one should go to the origin, the commissioner, and get that information, or maybe you can go to the website epral.com, download the statements, get the information from there. I think we are getting into that system but whatever happens is, even for asking for the return, I've e-filed the return and they say, we have not received the return on, please give me the hard copy of it. So I again now file a hard copy of it. So there's some parameters, some system has to be devised for it. Next please. Selection of cases for audit. Hot issue. I think from 2003 onwards till today, every audit selection has been challenged.